Boogada boogada. Oh, I don't even know. It's a Monday. Woot woot. I always tend to forget how delicious Sunny D is until I actually drink it. Isn't that weird? It's weird. Anyway, it's Monday. We finished book number 2 last week. We're on book number 3. And to keep in mind, these are rough draft covers, so... But yeah. Yeah, it's Demon. We're on book number 3, which is Reaper Adventures Freedom. Because freedom! Anyway, that's where we're on. Today I will be reading the prologue and chapter 1 of book number 3 of Reaper Adventures. And don't ever bring your kids, because it is not kid friendly. I mean, yeah, we all know there's no sex scenes or curse words or anything like that, because I just don't do that. But there are scenes of scary creature violence. I'm saying scenes because I don't know if there's one or if there's more. So scenes of scary creature violence, mentions of Dioan behavior, which is scary creatures, and trial scene for the Archangel Michael and Prince Lucius of the Angelic Order, a murder scene by the demon, and a mention of theft. Bum bum bum. So that is the little don't bring your kids because it's not kid friendly, and those are the reasons why type deal. Anyway, we're on the prologue and in chapter 1 because that's what's being read today, book number 3, because it's book number 3 and I just do this every Monday because yay. The hell. Anyway, we're on the prologue, so let us continue. Prologue. There was absolute chaos when the news was relayed to the Reapers. Cerberus was shocked by it. As annoyed as he had been with the Archangel Michael, he couldn't believe that the Archangel Michael had killed 2 keepers of peace, fought against his own army, which had suffered many losses, and had been imprisoned. There was more news after that. The demon, the Nephilim, and the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, besides death. Because if it was death, it would be the 4 horsemen. Anyway, moving on, continuing. 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, besides death, had managed to escape from Eden's prison and had managed to somehow remain hidden. The Archangel Gabriel relayed the messages, ignoring the angel and his company. The Archangel Gabriel did not show any emotion, and Cerberus assumed it was because of the angel beside him. Slowly, Cerberus processed the news that had been delivered. So, the first 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, the demon, and the Nephilim escaped, Cerberus said. The Archangel Gabriel nodded with confirmation. How? Cerberus asked with genuine curiosity, mixed with confusion. A brief flicker of emotion crossed the Archangel Gabriel's face before it quickly vanished. Cerberus knew he hadn't imagined the split-second flash of absolute dread and nervousness on the Archangel Gabriel's face. If you're keeping up, you realize that reasons that you'll have to listen to in order to know. Woo! How silly of me to ask. You wouldn't know yet, Cerberus said with a chuckle that seemed to unnerve the Archangel Gabriel's company. The Archangel Gabriel mentally sighed with relief at his quick regained composure, making sure he gave a nervous smile to disguise his relief. I need to deliver this news to the other Reapers, the Archangel Gabriel stated as after Cerberus stared at him with his unseen eyes for a long period of time. Which kind of in a way would make it seem awkward, wouldn't it? Yeah. Of course, Cerberus said with a smile that made the Archangel Gabriel wonder if Cerberus had seen the unwanted expression before the Archangel Gabriel had regained his composure. Ooh. Rise Up Dead Man. I don't know who sings it, that's just the title of the song. So, moving on. Continuing. The Archangel Gabriel gave a polite bow, which Cerberus returned, and then left with his unwanted company. Bao Yo gave Cerberus a confused glance when it began. Yeah, began to laugh. I never thought that all of them would aid in something like this, Cerberus explained after regaining his breath. Okay, there we go, that's better. I wonder which one of the archangels is the Nephilim's father, he mused as he took a sip of his coffee. The 2 pieces of fudge had melted perfectly now, and Cerberus made a content sound as he put his coffee cup down. If none of you have ever tried fudge with your coffee, it's actually very delicious. I am not drinking coffee right now. I am drinking orange juice, soda stuff.
Need a refill on your whiskey?
It's not whiskey.
Stop lying.
It's rum. Captain Morgan.
Rum.
Where's all the rum gone?
I knew you liked the scallywag wenches.
I am a scallywag wench. What are you talking about? Alright. Chapter 1. Cerberus had Bart assist him putting on music that he could listen to while conducting training Bario, Bart, Ao, Mascanet, Loki, and Damon. Bart got a thumbs up when the volume reached the preferred level, and then Cerberus motioned for everyone to leave after he put his headphones in. Cerberus is, no offense, very technologically impaired. He tends to break microwaves, yeah. Cerberus smiled as the music played loudly in his ears. He chuckled as he decided to make this training session interesting. Instead of them hunting him, he would hunt them this time. Ba-ba-ba. His scythe appeared and he began tracking them. Tracking them, beginning with Mascanet. He hoped she would be a challenge as he soundlessly leapt from tree branch to tree branch, scanning the area with his third eye, which would inform him of the whereabouts of everyone, but never alert them of his presence. I say that's kind of like a major cheat code, because it really kind of is. But if your eyes are being covered, then you gotta see somehow, so a lot of the time, most people don't tend to see through their hair too well. So, yay! Anyway, moving on. Cheat code, whoop. Continuing. He eventually spotted Loki, considered fighting him, and decided to do that. Cerberus dropped from the tree, landing silently on the thawing ground. Because, it would be spring about now, because seasons. Loki sensed something no longer felt right, and his battle axe appeared as he scanned the surrounding area with his spiritual energy. There was nothing that seemed to be wrong, but Loki couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He looked around and saw Cerberus almost upon him. Loki gave a startled grunt and raised his battle axe just in time to block Cerberus' attack. That wasn't enough, though. The butt of Cerberus' scythe connected solidly with the corner of Loki's jaw, enough to make him stumble a few steps to his left. Cerberus wasted no time and gave Loki no opportunity to recover, because in real combat situations, your opponent would never actually give you time to recover. They just... Anyway, the blade of his scythe buried itself into Loki's chest, and Loki slumped to the ground, unconscious. Considering the fact Reapers are technically dead, they can't really die again. We're gonna go with that, yeah. Cerberus stepped around Loki's unmoving form and continued his hunt for the others. Cerberus felt something wrong as he continued his search and slowed his pace as he glanced around the surrounding area. He spotted a slight difference in the darkness of the gathering shadows, glanced at the sky, and looked at the shadows again. They appeared normal again, which only served to make Cerberus even more suspicious as he continued his search for whatever had managed to manipulate the environment. I don't know. He saw the quick glimpse of blue spiritual energy in a briefly darkened shadow before hearing a quiet, raspy growl. See, I don't know how to make that sound, so I'm not even going to try. Cerberus blinked, his attention now focused on finding the source of the growl. He hadn't heard something like that in ages. If the blue spiritual energy was a reaper, they stood no chance if it was the growl of a creature Cerberus hoped it wasn't. Cerberus removed one of his headphones to hear the quiet snapping of what would have been mistaken for twigs. The sound was the creaking of old bones, and Cerberus looked to see a large, misshapen figure making its way through the woods. It didn't seem interested in the young reaper who Cerberus had only glimpsed, but Cerberus knew that this made the twisted soul more dangerous than the ones that were usually born of a necromancer's magic. Because it was under no orders to control, it would head to Jeromeson to eat the corpses first, and then the living, growing stronger with every meal. That's actually really freaking scary. Just this large, misshapen figure going, "Rawr, eat the corpses, and then I'll eat you." And yeah, anyway, moving on. And Cerberus knows that it can move much faster than it looked. The wind shifted, and the creature stopped, sniffing the air. A string of drool collected from its mouth, and Cerberus knew that it had smelt everyone in Jeromeson. It gave another whisper of a growl, and then moved, its speed now obvious as it raced towards Jeromeson. Cerberus gave a slight jump, and then ran after it, not caring for stealth as he gave chase on the ground, 'cause fuck stealth. And I don't care about my potty mouth right now. Boo. At first it took no notice of Cerberus. It only noticed Cerberus when his scythe buried into the back of its head. The creature reared up with a deafening roar that shook the trees as it grew an extra limb and threw Cerberus from it like it was swatting a fly. Whack! Cerberus hit a tree, his breath leaving him in a harsh, wounded gasp as he crumpled to a heap on the ground. He struggled to get up, his chest heaving with his labored breaths. The creature was already moving away, its extra limb absorbed back into its body. It had been seriously wounded, though, and its fast pace was considerably slower. Cerberus took a deep breath. His ribs and broken back now healed and gave pursuit once more. "Hey, little girl!" My kitty cat. The creature expected Cerberus to give chase and spun around, and Cerberus barely managed to dodge the arm that flung out to swat him away again. He ran towards the creature, jumping to avoid the flurry of rapid blows, making sure each leap brought him closer to the creature. I could say a collection of bodies from a twisted soul, because that's kind of what it is, but creature just makes more sense to me, because that's kind of what it morphed into, so... Cerberus leapt up, teleporting himself just above the creature's head as he brought his scythe down. It buried into the creature's skull. The creature gave another earth-shaking roar as Cerberus teleported away from it before it could swat him away. It was clutching its head, and Cerberus watched as it absorbed the head. Cerberus felt a thrill of victory, until the shadow that Cerberus thought was its destruction only revealed another head in the former head's place. Yeah. What? Cerberus breathed with confusion as the new head glared at him. Its other wound had healed as it hissed with rage at Cerberus. Cerberus bared his small fangs at the creature, knowing his show of aggression would be taken as a joke. Because, yeah, small fangs. Grr. He wasn't happy, though. The fact it was obviously more powerful than he had originally thought meant it had already feasted on a multitude of corpses. The creature shook slightly in what Cerberus assumed was a soundless chuckle. Cerberus saw the ground move in what appeared to be extremely fast waves. He didn't let the ground, which he knew were pieces from the corpses it had eaten, reach him. That's actually really fucking disgusting. Oof. After a greater distance than anticipated, the serpentine movements receded. The creature snarled with frustration and then raced towards Cerberus, the serpentine waves rapidly approaching him under the ground as the creature rushed at Cerberus. Cerberus's scythe vanished as everything began to appear in slow motion. He took a steadying breath and then tapped into the reservoir. Hold up, my words are really fucked up right now, so... apologies in advance for any other fuck-up words, and I don't care. Cerberus's scythe vanished as everything began to appear in slow motion. He took a steadying breath and then tapped into the large reservoir of spiritual energy that he usually didn't use. An almost white fog of spiritual energy with a touch of silver swirled around Cerberus as he moved, far quicker than the creature. Cerberus manifested the spiritual energy around him into two long arms and grabbed the now confused creature's head. There was barely any resistance as the head was torn from its misshapen body. It shuddered, collapsed, and rose again as a new head formed in the old head's place. The creature repeated this multiple times until it finally fell apart, no longer able to revive itself as the old bones and corpses that had given the twisted soul its power flaked away into nothing. Whew, don't fuck around with Cerberus. Cerberus brought the reserves of spiritual energy back into him and made sure they would remain reserves in case he ever needed it. Because, yeah, sometimes you just need that extra reservoir of spiritual energy to just rip apart corpses' head to no longer revive themselves. Yeah, that's not disturbing at all, no. Cerberus studied the now disintegrated creature, shrugged, and his scythe appeared as he looked at the sky. There was still time to train the others. Oh, and mind you, he's still got his headphones in, so he's still listening to music as he did that. There was still time to train the others. Cerberus hummed a random tune and then jumped from tree to tree in search of the others he was training. He had completely forgotten about the other unknown Reaper he had briefly glimpsed. The unknown Reaper returned the magic he had gathered in preparation to assist the white-haired Reaper if he had needed it. It was apparent that the white-haired Reaper had no need of any assistance, though, and the unknown Reaper stared at where the creature had been only moments before, his hazel eyes wide. A small shiver traveled down his spine as the possibilities that could happen if that Reaper went rogue crossed his mind. No one would stand a chance in a fair or unfair fight. Yeah, no joke. He made his way to Jeromson, going to his temporary apartment above the Dragonfire bookstore and cafe. Stockings and Cloud greeted him at the door, meowing loudly and running to their food bowls, 'cause cats. Food. Sleep. Being absolutely adorable. Moving on. All right, the Reaper said with a smile and then fed them, his smile growing as they began to purr. 'Cause you're just so freaking cute. Anyway. He sighed, gave them a brief petting, and scratched them behind their ears before deciding to take a shower. 'Cause showers. He briefly glimpsed himself in the mirror as he entered the bathroom. His orange-ish red hair was almost bright against his pale skin, and his hazel eyes appeared slightly sunken. He had drawn too much energy, and though he had returned it, it had taken a slight toll on his own energy. I guess resting tonight is required, huh, Norman? Norman observed as he took his red horn-rimmed glasses off, undressed, got in the shower, and let the water run over his body. He eventually got out of the shower, wrapped the towel around his waist as he put his glasses on, and went to get changed. He did so, and took off his glasses as he collapsed onto the bed and almost instantly fell asleep. And that is the end of Chapter 1 of Book Number 3, and the prologue, because prologue. So yeah, Chapter 2 is next week. And whoop whoop. Oh my goodness. Orange juice soda break. I have some accounts if any of you are all interested. I have a Wattpad account, which is at Tempesta771. I have a TikTok account, which is at AirdronCraven2. Or Tempesta Braveheart, if you can't find at AirdronCraven2. I'm not completely sure about that. But moving on. I have an Instagram account, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart. No uppercases, no spaces. Under the name Airdron Craven, I think you can look for that, like my TikTok, which has no uppercases or spaces, which is at Airdron Craven too. But I'm just confusing myself. That's actually not that hard to do, which I don't know how to feel about that. Moving on. If you can't find me under Tempesta Braveheart, you can probably look for Airdron Craven Don't quote me on that because I don't know. I have a Facebook account, which is Ayrton Craven. A Snapchat account, which is also under Ayrton Craven, no uppercases or spaces. And we're all watching my YouTube, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart. So woot woot. Mm-hmm. Chapter 2 next Monday. And then we'll be going on from there. So peace out, Girl Scouts, and enjoy the mental hilarity.